Boom shakalaka. Boom. No, but we should start with the om. At least one om. Om. Okay, we gotta do 3. Om.
The real Sarah.
Gotta connect.
So can you start at the womb? Can you tell us what it felt like to be in the womb?
Like that.
Womb.
Oh, it was something came to me, but it also slipped right out.
Well, should we welcome everyone into the show?
All right, yeah, if you're ready. Hold on, let me turn my phone off here.
Ding. Oh, my phone.
I forget which camera I'm actually addressing.
It's in my jacket.
Oh, this one,
you're going to be
right?
addressing that one right there.
Okay, all right. Okay, ready?
Here we go.
This is super fun.
Hello and welcome to Buzz Unfiltered, coming to you from Vail, Colorado. A new podcast here in Vail, which features local legend Buzz Schleper and various members of his family, including today Hunter Schleper and special guest Sarah Schleper. I'm your host, John Laconte. I've been called in on this special assignment from my normal interviewing duties at the Vail Daily. And yeah, very excited to get to talk to Buzz, of course, some more, but especially Sarah today. And I thought a good place for us to start would be a bit on what we touched on in our last podcast episode. Buzz talking about raising kids in the ski shop, quite literally being raised in the actual shop, taking naps under the tuning bench. And, you know, I thought we could maybe get Sarah talking a bit about that to start. Buzz, what do you think of that idea?
I think that's perfect because I was a single dad, and when the kids weren't in school or skiing, they were in the shop.
What was that like, Sarah?
Well, we did sleep in the shop. We slept anywhere. I mean, even when I was 19 or 18 or 19 at the World Championships, I would sleep under the clothing benches. But
That was during the day, not at night.
Yeah, during the day. And people would be shopping for clothes and they'd see me under there like resting from the night before. But no, when we were kids, we were outside the shop all the time. Johnny and I made up this game. We were connected to the Sonnenalp, which is down right next to the covered bridge on the other side. And there was a fence along the river, and we'd play balance beam on the fence all afternoon, and we'd play Super Mario Brothers. So if you fell off, you lose a life, and you'd have to jump, and there's certain little obstacles that we would do. So that was probably the start of my actual ski career, just balancing all the time.
That was at what age?
That was probably like 8.
And then Johnny, for those who don't know, is Sarah's brother and Buzz's eldest, right?
Nope, Sarah's the eldest.
Sarah's the eldest, okay, yeah.
Yeah, and then we had that rock fountain outside the shop, and we'd climb up to the high rock and bring our stuffed animals and have tea parties up there while my dad's in there tuning skis and renting skis and just...
And don't forget about building forts out of the cardboard from the leftover cardboard from the shop.
Oh, yeah, and one year, Johannes told me later that he had found my... Johannes from the Sonnenalp had told me he found my fort one year that I had built in the Sonnenalp under the stairwell. I had pulled a mattress down there and had a lamp and just getting into all sorts of mischief. And then later, when our teenage years, we'd be running the streets in Vail, throwing snowballs off buildings, like just knew every little secret passageway through the town. And my dad would send us up when we were really young, just by ourselves on chair 1. It was an old double. And he told the lifties to keep an eye out up for us if we were making laps. I don't remember that, but he tells the story often.
We heard that in the last episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, so do you have memories of riding that chair 1?
I mean, I do. I mean, it seems different now that we've ridden the gondola for so long. But yeah, I can remember it was slow, and you'd go over Pepe's face, and you just like dream about runs down that and over those cliff bands. And I don't remember the whole lifty thing. I do remember though we would ride the town bus, and John, the bus driver, would pretend like he could do magic with his hands and open the gates, and we would spend afternoons just riding laps on the bus, and we'd check in with my dad, and we knew all the bus drivers.
I think John's still a bus driver here, isn't he?
Yeah, he is.
No, he
Oh.
quit.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah.
He told me his best advice for me was drink a lot of carrot juice and don't eat heavy cheese.
Huh.
And that'll keep you healthy. So that was his secret.
So then all that skiing on the mountain at some point gets you to actually ski racing, right? You started that when you were pretty young?
Yeah, I remember Buzz put me in Ski Club Vail when I was probably 9 or 10. And I was just socializing in the back with the girls, and I wasn't charging. And he's like, what am I paying for if you're just going to hang out with the girls in the back of the pack? And so the next year I went to Devo, and I had an all boys group. And I was with Toby Dawson, who is a silver medalist in, what Olympics was that, Torino or Salt Lake? And, and all boys, and I couldn't socialize. We just had to ski. So I probably little choices like that along the way helped for sure as well.
Well, we have to backtrack because you skied Buddy Warner first, and Sarah was too young to ski in Buddy Warner, so I lied about her age because she wanted to be on that hill racing. And she ended up winning that championship for that young age bracket that year.
Even though she wasn't old
Yeah,
enough to... Wow.
Do you remember that?
No.
No.
Don't.
The Buddy Warner program?
I mean, I do remember the Buddy Warner. I remember the stories, but I don't remember really winning that race.
Huh.
It's just like, I remember skiing Beaver Creek and just being on a different mountain.
So at what point then do you start to realize that you might be able to make a career out of this ski racing thing?
Well, I wanted to be a gymnast. So I was always at gymnastics practice. I wanted to be an Olympic gymnast. That was kind of my first dream. And I was going to a gymnastics camp this one summer, and then my dad, this is quite a long story.
Indulge us, please.
Okay.
Yeah, we
We
got
have
time.
time.
Okay, so my dad originally, when he moved to Vail, was working for Pepe's and became friends with Pepe. And Pepe was partners with Eric Seiler from Buck Hill, Minnesota, in a summer camp in Red Lodge, Montana. And my dad decided one summer, the same summer I was doing gymnastics camp, to take us to ski camp. And I think ski camp is really where I fell in love with ski racing. Because it was like we had so much. That first year was really intimidating because we were up on Beartooth Pass on this steep pitch. And I just remember like, oh my gosh, we're skiing down this. And I started out in group 5. Eric had groups. So the best skiers were group 1. And it went down to group 5 was the worst. So I was in the worst group, and I was like, oh, and the group 1 was skiing down the pitch. And it was just like motivating because you were like, I got to do that. And Eric's daughter was 1 year older than I was, and her name was Martina, and she was on group 1 already. And I was like, oh, I'll never be able to do that. And so that's kind of where I fell in love. And they invited me because I got along with Eric. I got along with Martina, just loved the camp. They invited me to go to Europe with them that summer, but I decided I wanted to do the gymnastics camp anyway because I had already enrolled. But then after that, I was just like going to ski camps all summer with these guys. And I hooked up with the best coach in our country, pretty much. He's put so many kids on the World Cup, won so many World Cups from a small mountain in Minnesota. And just he had formulated a way to success that I realized later that I worked with him for so long. But that was kind of like my start into ski racing and really where I fell in love with it.
Yeah, Lindsey Vonn started with Eric.
Lindsay one.
And then eventually you start getting into NORAM and FIS races, and start finding success there.
Yeah, I guess at first I wasn't super successful. I was at Prater Cup and just getting 28th place but kept going to camp, kept training. The next year I came back and I won the J4 championships, and that's kind of like started the winning.
We have to backtrack.
There's so much to the story. It's just like
We have to
go on and
backtrack
on.
a little bit though, because once Sarah started ski racing, she did the Buddy Warner thing in the Devo. She had the opportunity to do a movie for Summit, the Summit skiers. The movie was called Magic Skis, and Sarah I think she was getting paid $100 a day to do this, but she got to ski and go on a dog sled and cross-country ski and snowboard and all this fun stuff. And we're getting to the end of the movie, and Sarah goes, I'm not going to finish the movie. I want to go back to ski racing. And I said, no, you have committed to this movie. You have to finish it. But after the movie's done, we can go back to ski racing.
And so they shot this movie over the course of, the whole winter or something?
A good part of it.
It is
It was-
such a wild movie.
So
ahead of
I
its
got
time.
to act in it, it's funny to watch. It's
Oh,
on
so there's real
VHS.
acting
We
in
haven't
it?
seen it. Well, we've
It's
seen it.
been years.
Yeah.
They have it
We
at the
should-
ski
it's on-
museum.
My
I know
kids
that.
haven't seen
It's
it.
on VHS in Buzz's warehouse for sure.
Yeah.
It's pretty funny.
And so that movie kind of gave you a taste of the glitz and glamour and the fame of ski racing.
Well, I took away from the movie more like being in the real world. Like I was making money. And ever since that movie, I was like, okay, money is always going to come in and come out, and kind of gave me this approach, my style and way about money. Like, just do your best and it will come in. And
The movie isn't about ski racing. It was about having fun at a ski resort and a ski town, and it had
skis had-
nothing to do with
The skis were magic and they had faces
Yeah.
and
Who is the
dude, it's wild.
producer?
Roger Brown.
Roger Brown and his
Mike
son.
Brown.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Oh, and these two hot shot mogul skiers were in it with us, and Ryan LaGrange. Oh yeah, it was great fun filming it. You don't remember those things that much, but since we have the movie, it kind of
Sure.
retells the story.
Yeah.
But she wanted to quit, and I wouldn't let her. And I wanted her to be a ski racer, but you got to complete projects you're doing.
That you've-
Commitments.
Yeah, right. But that's kind of funny that, so at this point you're making this movie, but you like ski racing enough that you don't even want to finish the movie.
Yeah,
Yeah, so by that point you were really,
I was like on my way.
yeah.
But it's funny how life kind of pulled me into the whole thing.
Then, so talk about some of your early successes that made you think that, you might have a chance to make it on the World Cup.
I never thought about it. It was just like kept going, and it kept happening.
Buzz, do you remember any NORAMs or
Well,
FIS
I mean,
races?
again, you got to backtrack a little. You had the Junior Olympics before she got to that level, and Sarah would win. I think her first junior championships, she got a third in slalom. And nobody expected that because she was one of the younger girls. And after that, all she did was win. So we have a trophy case full of gold medals that from those Junior Olympics. And then it started, she got the invites to go to U.S. Nationals. And remember the first one was in Sugarloaf. And they had these cool trophies. There was a chainsaw guy making these little bear trophies with plaques on them for place. I said, you got to get one of those bears for the trophy case. And she won, placed third in the slalom. I know Christina Kosnick won it, and Carrie Scheinberg was second. And Sarah got the bear. It's in the trophy case today.
Nice.
And then again, after that, she started winning world national championships.
And always though as a tech skier was your main
Yep.
talent. Yeah.
Tech. I was probably always ranked better in slalom. I was a bit still afraid of GS. I don't know.
I mean, how many national championship slaloms do you have?
I don't know. I think I have 7 in total. I have 1 combined, 1 GS, 1 or 2 GSs.
One for sure, and that was up in Jackson Hole.
Yeah. And maybe 4 or 5.
And to this day, that's still your strongest discipline?
No.
Slalom?
No,
No.
slalom's out.
No? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, Abigail, my sister-in-law, she's sitting over there.
Well, because I remember you, like, even recently in maybe one of your last Olympics or World Championships, like, in the combined, you were still, like, in the points and stuff.
Yeah, I just got slalom. Michaela was so fast, and I didn't want her to beat me by like a 15 seconds a run or something. I was just like, I looked down the course, and it was like this ice rink with gates everywhere, and it would just make me so anxious. I was like, and speed is just such a better like flow and feeling, and I started kind of getting pulled to that side, and that's why I'm thankful for Abigail, because she was the one who convinced me to do downhill when I was coaching her, and it was the best thing for me, for sure, to do speed. It's been so much fun to do a lot of those big courses, and I don't know, we had a lot of fun racing speed together. We went to Lake Louise, so it's been like a slalom to speed, and it's been a long transition, and I've learned every step of the way.
I mean, for the longest time, you're the most dominant U.S. slalom skier.
Yeah.
So it's hard to...
Yeah, I know.
your
we can go
roots are-
back to that
your whole roots are slalom.
chapter for sure, because that was like, with Racy, I don't know, World Cup was, even those days I've had so many things happen in those days, but Michaela came onto the scene at the end, and my last race was her first podium. So when I carried Lasse down, was her first podium.
Oh, cool.
So she was kind of, the coach was really into Michaela, and I had a family, and it was tough for him. He wasn't used to that culture. He was Austrian, and I just was like, you know what? I didn't like getting beat. I think the nationals. I want to go into the Michaela part. We can go backtrack after it. The nationals, Michaela beat me in. She was like, I finally figured out how to beat you. And so I was like, oh, darn it.
That's because you were a
it's
slalom
tough.
superstar, and she looked up to you.
Yeah, for sure.
Her whole childhood, I'm sure.
No, I remember the first race I met her at. She was at a NORAM 4 ending, and she was 5 seconds behind. And she was like, she was super bummed. And Jeff was there, and it was just, it was cool. It's been so cool watching her whole career through mine in a way. But yeah, my slalom career was fantastic. We had so much fun on the World Cup. We were in the Bodie era, watching him just destroy and being around him, and making our own great memories as well.
Yeah, and the U.S. team had, up until, like, between you and Michaela, there wasn't a whole lot of depth on that slalom side, right?
We had Christina Kosnick before.
Mm-hmm.
Before. Racy Stiegler, kind of halfway through your
but
career.
Filling
She's
out
younger.
an Olympic team of 4 slalom racers was actually a challenge for the U.S. squad, right?
Well, Sarah's Olympics in Salt Lake, Eric Seiler had all 4 girls. It was Sarah, Christina, Tasha Nelson, and Lindsay.
Yeah.
All 4 girls started the Olympic slalom, and they all came through Eric Seiler.
Yeah. Wow.
Because Sarah spent a lot of time at Eric's camps.
So that was, 2002 Olympics. And then how many more did you do with the U.S. team?
I did 2006 in Torino, 2010 in Vancouver, and that was the last one.
And Nagano.
My first one was in Nagano.
98. Yeah, okay. I was hoping to get you to share some of those stories. last week Buzz talked a bit about, going to these Olympics and sneaking the family in and everything else. And, I'm sure you weren't aware that was going on, but yeah, on the
She
racing
has to
side.
always know something's up with Buzz out there in the crowd.
Well, I think that's an interesting aspect of our family is that we're like a little bit ski bummy. Like we
A little
little.
bit.
a lot
Full ski bum. Top to
because we were
bottom.
raised by a ski bum, so we know how to find a free breakfast or get onto the hill and
Find a hot tub.
find a hot tub, find a sauna, which has been fun. But at the same time, I got ashamed a little bit of it. I was like, oh no, we're ski bums. And so sometimes I would get ashamed. But
But we
always
are
call-
successful ski bums.
and we always come back to our roots. And
So share some of those memories though of competing at that top level. Like you think back to your first Olympics, like I imagine you were probably really nervous and everything else.
yeah, I think I did. I mean, you always you would put race days were tough, because you wanted to win. And then, but when you didn't want to win, or you were just like, I gotta ski fast, it was just all about the mindset, pretty much. And some days you had it, and some days you didn't. And the days you didn't were really shitty, and the days you did were really fun. But let me think of a one where I did really well. I don't know. It's just so you're so in the
day you
moment.
won. How about the day you won?
The day I won.
Yeah, how was that?
That was a great day. I got on the lift. It was an old double, or no, maybe it was a quad. And can you feel it coming in the air tonight? You know that song?
Oh yeah.
I was like, oh this
Lord.
is my day.
Phil Collins.
Yeah.
I didn't know what the song was about or anything at that time, but I just felt like, okay. I don't know, the song was talking to me at the moment. But I remember the warm-up. It was a disaster. I was like, I can't warm up on that. And then I remember going down this mogul run to the start. I was like, okay, this will get me warm. So I went as fast as I could through the moguls. I had the best technician. He really, let's start at the best technician.
Yeah, no worries.
Got some cotton mouth. Andrea Vianello. He's actually with Cultori right now, but he was with Julia when she got the gold. He worked with Tomba. And he was just like, there was something about him at the start that just made you confident. And so I was working with him, and it was just clicked. I had been working with Trevor, my coach, on taking a more direct line, so that was helping. Oh, and previously to the win, I had gone on a surf trip solo to Fuerteventura. So I was kind of breaking up with this guy at the time. And I went solo, and I just watched Marlise, and I watched myself, and I was like, oh, I can beat her. And I was just kind of got in this meditative state, got back there, and won the race.
This was a
But-
World Cup race?
World
Yeah.
Cup finals.
Oh, and
Lenzer, no, it wasn't the finals. It was in Lenzerheide.
no, it was the
Oh, it
finals.
was Lenzerheide, Switzerland. But remember what Kostos said to you in the
yeah.
start on the second run?
Yeah, I want to just go back to that because that was another part. So I was winning the first run, and then they reversed the 30 athletes. So I was at the very end, which is kind of crazy because there's no one else around. So you're always used to people being around you at the start. So it's a different feeling. And
The course is
Pearson was
always...
in third, and Kostelich was in second. And so I'm up there with these two super champions, and Kostelich comes up to me and she's like, oh, is this the first time you've ever gone 30th? And I was like, oh. And I think Vianella is just gave me a focus. He's just what we're thinking about, and then got through the finish, and that was it. I mean, it's just not really like any other day, but you get the victory, whatever. I don't know.
No, it's way better than any other day ever. That's the pinnacle.
I know.
So Hunter also won a junior Olympic title that
That
day. at
same
Beaver
day.
Creek.
So, well, I was about to say, so I wake up, I have J3 championships in Vail in Beaver Creek coming up that day. And Buzz comes in and he's like, Sarah won, waking me up.
No
Sarah
way.
won.
I've
Sarah
never heard
won.
this.
And I was like, and I'm 14, 15 years old. I'm like, just as stoked. And then later that day, go out, race a GS, and I won the GS later that day. So it was kind of,
That's so
I'll
cool.
never forget. I more so forget my race, more so than Buzz coming in and saying that you won the race that day. Because, it was so many times where it was like, middle of the night, Sarah got third, this, that, and then finally pulls through with that win. It was like,
Nice.
So you
And
think
how,
this,
how about my feeling? My two kids win championships
Yeah.
on the same day.
yeah.
Pretty cool day.
Nice.
You think the stoke of Sarah winning helped carry you in that race?
Hunter was pretty fast.
Yeah.
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 I was probably so young and oblivious, I don't even know if I were.
Yeah.
It probably did. Of
You're
course
still
it did.
young and oblivious.
Yeah.
But I was stoked for her
yeah.
winning. I was stoked. Seeing how happy Buzz was
Yeah.
coming in, just like, Sarah won. Like,
That's so cool.
early in the morning. I was like, it's just joy.
My dad still watches all the World Cup results.
I do. I love ski racing.
He's a diehard.
So, okay, so, we have some of those, like, stories of winning and that great feeling. I would like to get into a bit of, some of the heartache and the tough races. And there was the one race that I've always heard about with the ski coming off. And I think that's a bit of a local kind of legend around here.
On the slalom?
Yeah.
That was a national championship.
Or was it the
No,
Olympics?
I had a
Oh, the Olympics.
I've had tons of people.
No, it was the Olympics.
Yeah.
That's the one that people
Olympics,
talk
Salt
about
Lake
to
City.
this day. Yeah.
My dad has
'Cause it
fired
was here
every
at home.
time my binding comes off. It's my technician's fault,
Right.
and my technician gets fired.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
But that time it was. He even told me, he goes, well, I loosened up Sarah's binding before a run so she wouldn't get hurt. I'm going, you loosened her bindings for the run. What about training? You let her ski at full tension for training, and then you loosen them for her Olympic run? What were you thinking? He wasn't the best tuner either.
And so, you were gonna do really well in that race, right?
I mean,
She was America's
Yeah.
hope.
Yeah.
in slalom.
I was top seed for sure.
Yeah. You were top seed.
You were ranked top 5 in the world in slalom in those years.
I don't remember the emotional down from that. These guys, my dad was so mad.
We all
So
do.
mad. Like,
We
I
all
had
do.
no emotion because he was so mad.
I was so young, but I still remember the rage of
I was just like, whatever. My ski came off. That happens in sport. Like, let's go next.
But not because your tech loosens the binding. I went to the Rosignol people because that's who Sarah was sponsored by, still is. And I told them, I said, I want a team, a Rosignol technician, because I know they'd hire the best. And they said the U.S. ski team won't allow it. And I said, well, you got Bodie and Darren Riles, and they've got techs with Atomic. And if you don't get Sarah one, we're switching skis. We're going to Atomic or any brand that will give us a legit technician.
Well, that's when
And-
I got Andrea. So that was good.
Yeah.
Yeah, instantly got a Rosinol technician.
Yeah.
No, but I did have my dad do a lot of my stuff for me. And that's been also like, for me, I've had to open up myself, like being able to communicate better for myself. And that's been a long process, and I'm still working on it. But I was thankful for Andrea Vianello for sure.
And so was Julia Mancuso.
Yes, she was.
Well, so I do want to talk about some of these names that you got to race with in your career. And I remember an interview with Lindsey Vonn where someone asked her like who her, favorite person or best friend or something on the team was, and she mentioned you. And you were in that era of just the greatest era of U.S. ski racing with Lindsay and Bodie and
Peekaboo.
yeah.
Yeah, I just I'm in awe of all of these guys, all my teammates, everyone that ski races. It's kind of like the original extreme sport, and especially the downhills and Kitzbühel and all that. And I mean, even the slalom skiers are wrecking their bodies, and it's I don't know. It's tough to get through that injury part of it and get yourself psyched to push yourself to those limits. And watching Bodie do it time and time again, and Darren in the 2001 World Championships in St. Anton, and the size of the guy and just the things he would do on skis was incredible. And Herman Meyer was in my era, and just being a part of watching that culture and close to it was for sure fantastical. And I loved the sport so much to this day. We watch all the races, and I don't know, it's just it's fun for me, and I've always loved it since I was born on skis. So
What was it like off the track? Like, did you guys get along well?
yeah, for sure.
It was
Like
fun.
I didn't like getting beat. I was probably totally mean when I didn't get beat. I know I was. When I got beat on training, sometimes I'd have to go, chill out. And I was competitive on the field too, like sports. But for the most part, we had fun. We were a family. We ate dinners together. I mean, you're so close to those people because you're with them all the time. And I have so many experiences with Lindsay and Julia and
Jana Mendez.
Jana, Caroline. I mean, my teammate, our teammate, we just got together again in a reunion, and we went to Sedona, and yeah, it just brought up a lot of those feelings back. And why weren't we just even more like present and like, oh, this is the best life ever. We're traveling the world, getting to ski race, eating in these amazing places. And I guess you don't even realize that's what's happening. And you're still like complaining about, oh, my boots don't fit right or whatever. No, my tune sucks but so I don't know.
And
I
then-
think I was a little, I lacked appreciation for it a bit. But now that I look back, it's kind of like you can erase the memories and put all that good stuff. Wow, it was such a great time.
Here locally, then there was a lot of talented athletes that you grew up with, and Hunter has this story that he asked me to have you talk about, which was Chris Del Bosco, another just fantastic athlete from this area, and the incident where he chips his tooth. So, do you recall this?
I saw this on the thing.
Hunter, you want to refresh
You
your
don't remember?
memory?
No.
Well, I guess if you can't
Is it?
recall it.
No. Was it? No, I don't
Go
remember.
ahead, refresh your memory from what you remember of it.
I mean, I remember it vaguely, so I was hoping she
What?
could go on.
Where
about
was it? Eagleville?
Yeah, Eagleville.
It was on
I
a
don't know.
trampoline.
Yeah,
Was
I
it
thought
on-
it was on the trampoline.
I remember when Mike Cassiopo broke his arm on my trampoline.
Rest in peace,
We-
Mike Cassiopoulos.
No, his son,
Oh,
who was my
okay.
friend.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Chris Del Bosco. He chipped a tooth on our trampoline.
Was that with me?
Yeah.
I remember playing pond
'Cause I was
hockey
really
with
little.
Hunter in Eagleville.
Oh, yeah, we were getting heated
Oh.
battles of hockey.
Hunter was probably like 8, and I was.
Because I played hockey as a kid, and then Sarah would come on we had a backyard rink sitting right there in Eaglevale, and had the hockey nets, had all that. Sarah would come out there and kind of put a whooping on me, as an older sister should, but it's like, where the hell did you learn how to skate? Like, what the hell? And hold a stick and shoot and score. So we were getting heated battles, and she's the only one that could actually get under my skin like no one else. Like, we've had our arguments more than anyone on the planet, but also the best times. So,
I think some of
you
my best memories are with Hunter. I just got to help raise him. It was amazing. I mean, it helped shape me as a mother, and we had so many great times. He came to ski camp with me all the time.
you taught me how to ski tucking down.
Yeah.
Runs.
He had no poles, And I was like, you can't go in unless you tuck straight down tourist trap. And he's like, okay. And just sent it.
I'm bringing up the rear on this. So it's Sarah, and I see Hunter straight down. I get to the bottom and go, Sarah, what are you trying to kill Hunter? She goes, oh, Pa, don't you want him to be a ski racer? And I'm going, yeah, you're right.
I'm still doing that with my ski club Vail athletes.
Yeah. Pushing them to the limits.
A little bit, sometimes too far.
But I was so furious until she said that. And what could I do after she said that?
Yeah, and that a bit gets you to, being a coach and a mother now. I guess that those experiences with Hunter when he was just a young squirt kind of prepares you for that.
Yeah, changed his diaper.
Yeah, yeah.
For sure.
Do you want to talk about transitioning into that phase of your career, or should we get into some other
for
stuff
sure.
first? Okay.
Oh man, that was probably the best part of my career for me, because it was just like I was settled. We had an apartment in Austria, and it was just like family was settled, but work was on the road and just like skiing fast. And we had a great setup. The team supported us. Trevor was our coach, and he was amazing, super accommodating for the family. So it made it easy. I remember initially when I came back as a mother, I wasn't skiing fast. Just like couldn't get my first race back. I was 13th in Aspen in the World Cup in the GS, I think. And then I couldn't get a result for the rest of the season. So pretty much Jesse Hunt cut me from the team. Was like, you have to pay now. And I was like, I'm just coming back. Like, it was just like, I can get it. But maybe that's what I needed to light the fire. And then I remember I was in a race in St. Anton with my teammates, Haley Duke. She's like, just try to ski into the turn a little bit more. And then boom, I won the race. Just with this little tip she gave me. And then I was back. And then I was just like getting consistent World Cup points. My best, I had a winning run in Ore when I was a mom. And 5th was my best slalom in Lienz. And then the retirement run carrying him down was awesome too. So it was just like great kind of closure for me. And I had always told my teammates before I was a mom that I was like, I want to race as a mom. I didn't care. Like, I was like, I want to race as a mom. So it was just, I guess it was kind of part of my goal.
It's such a rare thing in that level, right?
Yeah.
You can probably count on one hand the number of moms who race World Cup.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then
Sarah skied. We were skiing on Vail Mountain the day before she gave birth.
I remember
to
that.
Lasse.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
We were just watching a video in the shop earlier today where we were skiing East Vail and you were pregnant with Lasse, like earlier on. But
yeah, I broke my ankle skiing with Racy.
Hit a tree, didn't you?
Yeah, I hit a tree with my foot. So.
Yeah.
It's better your foot than your belly.
Yeah. It's protecting.
So then at what point in there do you decide that maybe you'd rather race on the Mexican team than the U.S. team and get into that?
So it's 2009. We were with Hubertus. Hubertus is friends with Federico and his family.
The Prince?
The Prince.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
The Fresh Prince.
So designed by the
Shouts
Prince.
out. Yeah. Love that
Yeah,
guy.
so he's for sure one of my heroes. The guy's amazing.
Yeah.
And
Let's, for the viewers, a quick background on him.
Yeah, explain who he is
What
to
does he
us.
call himself? The Fresh Prince at Hop. No. Oh my gosh, it's slipping me. I'll think of it.
But yeah,
Yeah.
he's a literal prince.
He's the prince. I should know all these details because I get asked it so much. He's the prince of a region in Europe.
Right.
Somewhere near Germany or Austria. Somewhere.
Right.
It was before the split or World War I and II. It's very complicated how all those borders formulated. In any case, he was a prince, and he is a prince.
Yeah.
Because the royalty's been passed down.
But yet he's Mexican.
He was born in Mexico.
Right.
His grandfather and Federico's grandfather had car dealerships in Mexico together.
Okay, Federico's your husband.
Yeah, and Federico's my husband.
So they knew each other.
Yeah, so that's how they knew each other. And the Hubertus is a Renaissance man. He speaks 6 languages. He does music. He has a fan following on Spotify. He does TV shows with Red Bull in Austria. He's like a very famous figure in Europe. And he's just like this big kid. He's full of life constantly. He doesn't drink alcohol. He's just like always on. It's like, let's go. I mean, sometimes he needs to chill, but mostly he's on.
How many Olympics has he been in?
He's been in 7, I think, because I'll tie him if I get the next one. So I know that.
But will he be doing the next one?
Well, it depends on, he has to be the best Mexican.
He didn't make the last one, did he?
He was the team captain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he didn't race.
He didn't race.
So,
And
anyways,
he designs our uniforms. He's
Yeah.
an artist.
Yeah.
Oh, he's famous for his photography. He has all the famous people you can think of in the world with him in a reflection with the person. Incredible stuff. Like he does exhibitions in Monaco and all over the place. Cortina.
So at some point he suggests to you that maybe you could help build up this Mexican ski racing program.
Yeah, he's like, join the Mexican team. We need a woman. And I'm like, yeah, that's a great idea. I'll do that. So we started trying to work on getting a passport, which ended up taking 6 years since that point where we started because of things we had missed. Years had passed. You have to actually live in Mexico for 2 years to get citizenship. So I think they granted me exemption because I wasn't training for sport in the snow. But you have to learn Spanish. Very, very thorough process. And
you
then,
at least spent like 6 months living there purely without leaving the country.
yeah, I had to go to like one of the craziest prisons in Mexico. They're like, don't talk to anybody because you have to get this letter, Carta de no penales, letter of no penalties. And it's right next to the prison. And I'm just fantasizing about these guys in jail and how they got there and they're crammed in there and there's no food and you're not allowed to talk to anybody. And my mind was racing. They're like, and I'm this white girl with my last name Schleper. That's been actually quite interesting, like representing another nation that's, that you're not really born into, that you naturalize into. Not having the name or the look or the accent and representing them. So you have to really humble yourself and tune into the culture and, and probably need to learn more and just keep connecting, being down there because I think that's important if you're doing that work, But it does feel good as well as bringing Mexico to the winter. And just being a representation for them, because otherwise maybe there's not a representation.
And there's so many Mexicans that ski in Vail and Aspen
they
and
helped,
everywhere.
They built Lion's Head.
Yeah.
So they're a huge part of the ski community,
Yeah.
and I mean it helps to have someone representing them in the Olympics. So
Yeah, I mean
doesn't hurt to have
someone
you. That's
beside
already
him.
been.
Somebody to cheer for.
Or like the prince said, a woman. Yeah. He'll hold it down for
Well,
the
and then
men.
when you hang out in the shop, they're all stargazing because they're like,
That's our Olympian.
that's our Olympian.
But so he makes this suggestion to you. You take it pretty seriously. You get naturalized.
go through the process.
Yeah, you get your
I missed
citizenship.
Sochi by a month. I got the passport 1 month after Sochi. FIS had already switched me. U.S. ski team granted me the switch to keep my points and all that. But I had to trade a credential from the Mexican team for the Olympics, Sochi. Never got the passport, never had to give the credential. But eventually got the passport and still have my points.
So you didn't race in Sochi, though?
Didn't miss
Oh,
Sochi.
okay. You could have probably... Because the slalom team didn't have a lot of depth for women.
Yeah.
You probably could have made
But
it.
I
the
mean,
US ski team-
I think if I could have training, at least into my 30s, I mean, Federica's doing it. I just feel like I matured. I still feel like I was maturing even into my 30s.
Right. So that was quite the sacrifice then,
Yeah.
considering that you probably could have made it on the U.S. team in slalom.
Well, I was just ready for the change.
Yeah.
And I was ready. I love being part of the Mexican team and the small contingency and just having my own schedule. I don't know.
Yeah.
But now I look back and I was like, oh, the U.S. ski team provided so much for us. We
Yeah.
had everything covered.
Right.
I mean, the C team has to pay now, but when I was on the C team, everything was covered.
Yeah.
All our training.
During
all
your
our-
time, it was
Yeah.
a different era than when I was on the team. That's
Yeah.
for sure.
And
Yeah.
then, like, the end when I had lost is when people started having to pay,
Yourself included.
and myself included.
Yeah.
Although, not really, because you got back on the A team.
Yeah. FIS was still giving the U.S. ski team travel money for my rankings. So I had to fight for this money. I didn't realize till halfway through the season.
They're like,
They
we're
were-
paying for her.
Yeah.
We're going to give her the money.
Yeah. So
Nope,
that
you
was
gotta
a whole
pay
battle.
for travel.
I had to pay for travel when it was already included in all my rankings.
And then at that point, did you go race primarily on Europa Cup instead in those years or no?
I was always on the World Cup pretty
you
much.
Okay.
How many Europa Cups do you think you raced?
Not many.
Okay.
Less than 5.
So I guess maybe I'm
Maybe
thinking
like
of when
10.
but you lived over there then more as a coach, was it? Or
When?
in Europe?
Purely
had-
racing.
So Eric Seiler, first I rented the apartment he had in Austria
Okay.
in the winter, and then I ended up buying it.
Okay.
Actually,
okay.
Lynn helped me buy it because she had British citizenship because you have to be at EU. And so I had an apartment in Austria for 12 years.
Okay.
or 15 years.
Okay,
This
got it.
little apartment was amazing. It
Right in the
was-
mountains.
It was as Austrian as you could possibly get. Had a nice little loft in it. You could see
Kachelofen.
the nice mountains outside of it, right there in Telfs.
And by
right
then,
outside
she's
Innsbruck, so-
talking about my wife. So.
Yeah, Lynn, exactly, right. So, right. And then so Lynn, then to complicate it even further, she actually has UK citizenship.
She's got triple. UK, Canadian, and U.S. And so does Hunter.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so
And
then
Sarah has
Mexican. Yeah.
Yes, American and
Yeah.
Mexico.
Well, you guys are so cosmopolitan.
Yeah.
For
We're-
some ski bums.
Except for
With
Buzz.
Steve-O,
He's
yeah.
like, the lake.
Sarah also has neglected to say she speaks fluent Spanish and German.
Well, had to Spanish for the citizenship. German too, though.
Yes.
Yeah.
Ja, ich kann gut Deutsch reden, aber
That's helpful language when you're in ski racing.
yeah, I don't know. When Eric was coaching Martina in German, I just was like, I have to know what he's saying.
That's what motivated you to learn it.
Yeah.
Oh wow. So it's not like you just took classes in school.
Well, I did. I didn't. I went to Dartmouth. The U.S. ski team offered a program, so that helped me out a bit. But I was just from that moment, I was like, I have to know what he's saying. So
went to Dartmouth.
I went to Dartmouth for the language program.
It's
Wow.
for Spanish and German.
Yeah,
Ivy League.
And tell us more about that.
Yeah.
the ski
what did-
school.
yeah.
You
No,
went
the-
there, and
Yeah.
what did they make you do for the?
They have like
how long
it's called
and-
the Racius program, and they have a special way to get you over your fear of speaking the other language. Because when you speak another language, you have to sound kind of dumb because it's like, hola. You can't say hola, cómo estás. You know, like you have to be like,
some
hola,
accent.
cómo estás. You know, you
You
have to
bring
like
it out.
make it sound.
Which feels phony.
It feels phony.
Right.
Yeah, so they get you
but
over it.
they didn't allow you to speak English at these.
They didn't allow. And at some point with the German, people were speaking English outside, and I thought they were speaking German. I don't know. The languages are quite similar. My ear was getting them mixed up.
Yeah, you weren't allowed to speak any English.
No, and the
This is
teachers,
at
they'd
Dartmouth,
snap at
yeah.
you.
Yeah.
It was like a snap game.
Yeah. So how long were you
I
in
don't
this
remember.
Dartmouth program?
10 days.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All
It's
right.
just a summer program.
Crash
yeah.
crash course.
Crash course. Yeah.
Crash course.
Yeah.
But she's very
No.
good with languages, so
No, I just
Right.
wanted to learn.
Yeah.
It's part of the vocal
Right.
transformation.
I heard Lindsay one time talking about like how learning German is like so helpful just in the ski racing world.
Yeah. And it's something like you're always in a European hotel, German speaking hotel mostly.
Right.
You know, you understand what those German girls are saying when they're talking about you.
Yeah.
No, because the dialects. Sometimes you just can't even get it.
All right. If
The-
it's Swiss German or
Yeah,
whatever.
the Swiss
Italian,
German, Italian.
German.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
we
It's all
lived in
different.
Swiss. We lived in Südtirol in northern Italy, which speaks German, and to this day I can't understand. It's so thick. But my kids both learn the dialect, so they can go into Südtirol and like whip off some.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Both your kids?
It's like
Yeah,
going
I mean,
down
they-
to
we probably have to-
Louisiana where you just
Yeah.
you're like, damn, I can
Right.
kind of understand you, but I don't think I do.
Right. Huh. So, and now, so both your kids, they were able to pick that up from, how did they manage to learn that?
We just put them into school.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we lived there we did last day 4th grade and 8th grade, and Racy
Okay.
was kindergarten and 3rd, I think.
Okay,
3rd or 4th.
okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, so back to this Mexican team. Are you gonna, do you think you're gonna make it in the next Olympics on this team?
I think I'm pretty qualified for GS already with my points as they are right now.
Okay.
I'm going to keep training and going for races in GS. My big goal is to make the downhill. It's the Cortina,
Okay.
which has always been something that I've wanted to do. So I'm going to Europe next winter, going to find some downhills because I have for World Championship, Olympic, and World Cup speed, you need to have to under 80 points. And I'm at 105 right now.
Okay.
So I need to chase some
getting
points.
close,
yeah. And
It's like golf where the lower the better.
the lower the better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, will you get to, if you are able to get your downhill lower, would you be able to do the combined too?
I thought somebody said they took out combined.
Oh, they took it out. Oh, yeah, okay. That's
Yeah.
a bummer.
I really I could do slalom, but it would be not.
Yeah, okay.
Slalom is so precise. You have to train
Yeah.
every day, be so sharp on it. They're so
Yeah.
quick.
You don't have to train every day.
Yeah.
You don't have to.
They've gotten so much faster. I've noticed that watching the men's race the other night
Yeah,
in Schladming. It is so quick.
So
Yeah,
quick.
yeah.
Slalom is so quick.
yeah.
So if you're not quick and
Right.
on
And
it,
fast.
Right.
it's hard to wing it.
Becoming a younger person's
Yeah.
discipline.
I like the GS. It's more like my carving rhythm
Right.
at this point.
Yeah.
It's the way we ski Vail Mountain.
No, Super G's actually.
Yeah, well, yeah,
Yeah.
that's more like it.
Yeah. Sometimes we do
Tree
downhill.
skiing is just like slalom.
Tree skiing is such slalom.
So
You know, I'm starting to like the
you're
open
like,
stuff
oh,
more.
Wait a sec, I like slalom.
No. I'm starting to like the open stuff on the mountain more. Is that bad? I've always been like the biggest tree skier.
Well, so that open stuff on the mountain would be more like GS.
That's
right?
what I mean.
Yeah.
I'm like,
okay.
GS to downhill.
like I
Yeah.
want to go fast.
Yeah.
Well, years ago, I saw an interview that Bodie did, and they asked him powder or corduroy, and Bodie said corduroy.
Yeah. Well, he's from the East Coast.
Well,
He probably doesn't even know how to ski powder.
yeah, right.
No, we saw him do a front flip into that cornice one time.
Yeah.
Hold
He could
on, wait
ski.
a sec. But he
He
used
could
to
ski.
party in our basement.
Oh yeah.
Tell us
Sarah,
more about that.
Sarah and I played beer pong against Bodie, and who was
Darren Rolfs.
No, I don't think
Wasn't
it was
it?
It's
Darren.
Brad Hogan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Sarah could not make a shot. I'd make one, and Bodie and Brad, they crushed
Crushed us.
Yeah. yeah.
Buzz was getting drunk by the end of the night.
Yeah.
Not me.
Yeah, every
You
birds.
metabolize it.
I can hold
every
back.
birds of prey. The whole guys, U.S. ski team, women's ski team would always come to the house and party in the basement.
Oh, we used to train a lot in off season on the front side on Centennial, and all those guys would stay up there at the. That was awesome.
Oh yeah.
Training.
Yeah. On Centennial.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That's it. They don't do that anymore though.
No, they don't.
Yeah. So then, now I think one thing you wanted to talk about is like your kind of your like connection with nature and how you take this kind of holistic approach to life and and all that. And
How
does exactly. We started off this show doing the ums, right?
Maybe we need to go back into another one.
Yeah. Let's not burden the viewers. But
they can join us.
Another 40 seconds of
Oh yeah, my ultimate goal, like, well, I'm gonna save that for later. No, Buzz took us to the lake in the summer.
right, insisted on going there.
Well, we were too young to really. We
Yeah.
were just like.
Well,
all
my
for the
mom
ride.
was still alive, and I wanted her to experience the kids while she was still
Right.
able.
The
Right.
lake is also
the f-
like one of the most majestic places on the planet. It is, when you're there, it is the most peaceful place. Like,
Except
so
for the mosquitoes.
there's not really mosquitoes where we're at in Minnesota.
They're not that bad.
You go farther north,
Like,
the mosquitoes get way worse.
Yeah.
But
have you ever played Legend of Zelda?
Oh yeah.
You know, like the fairyland where you
Yeah.
get your hearts filled up.
Yeah.
That's what it's like.
Okay.
Yeah. So we were.
So we got a
Legend of
Mario
Zelda, huh,
Brothers. We got
John?
Super Mario Brothers and Legend of Zelda references in this episode. Nice.
So you know when we first started going, we lived in a tent, and it would rain these lightning storms, and we'd be in this tent, and then we'd have to hike up this hill to our neighbor's cabin, and we'd go camp out in there, and like the mice are everywhere, and it's just like you're like Cinderella, you know, you're so connected to everything, and I don't know. I remember we had speakers in the tent, big ones. Buzz was always a rock and roll guy. We always had the rock and
Can't
roll
help
going.
myself.
So another way of our education was like the School of Rock. You know, we got all the great rock. And I've learned a lot from those rockers.
And we'll get Johnny on another podcast.
Yeah.
Johnny,
Talk some
the
rock,
musician
yeah.
of the family. But,
So-
but it only took one of those lightning storms, and I went out and bought an Airstream.
Oh right.
Because
A
I-
big metal,
tuna can.
we used to call it the tuna can.
Yeah.
Better than a tent.
we had two
At
of
least we
them.
were off the ground.
yeah.
We had two of them. It was great. There was a kid's tuna can and an adult's tuna can, which were these. One was an Airstream and one was an Avion.
Yep.
So
My girlfriend and I painted ours one time. We painted it and we sewed curtains. We made it all cute.
Had glow-in-the-dark stars on the ceiling. And
Oh, they had these amazing cabinets that would magnetize to the top.
there was no running
Oh, right.
water. These things were just.
Oh yeah,
shells.
we
yeah.
washed our clothes in the lake. We washed our dishes in the lake.
no, we'd go to Avon to wash our clothes.
I washed some of my clothes in the
But
lake.
Sarah go.
I wouldn't wash my
I'd
clothes.
make Sarah, you got to wash the dishes. So she'd go down to the
Oh
dock.
yeah, when I got in trouble,
and
I had to wash the dishes.
you know, every time I go to the dock, I'd look and I'd see forks and knives.
Oh, you know what I learned? I learned to love the dishes because I was go and feed the fish.
Oh. Cool.
So it was like became friends with all the fish, and then we had the loons and the
The
No, no, no,
eagles and all
just
sorts of
outside.
wildlife everywhere.
the fireflies, and that turned into Buzzstock, some more School of Rock.
All these like early experiences at this in this lake atmosphere kind of give you a deeper connection with nature. You feel like?
I just, yeah.
Water
about
skiing
that
was a
long
big
and
part
deep.
of our summers too.
All right. So you're still on skis in
Yeah.
a manner of speaking.
So one day we're out water skiing. I don't know who it was. I was driving the boat and Sarah was skiing. And over on the north end of the lake, I see a bobber in the lake, and I like to fish. So I'm going back to get that bobber, and I start pulling on it. I'm going, there's a fish on it. So we pull it into the lake. Some fisherman must have caught it, and the line broke. And we pull it in. It was rainbow trout, and we had it for breakfast. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
So there's rainbow trout in that
It's
lake?
stocked. They
okay.
went from a walleye lake to a
Okay.
Stock-fed trout lake
stock-fed
now.
trout lake.
Oh yeah.
What
So
is it?
now at the lake, we try to just grow and eat our food as long as we can. So Buzz will have some wild chanterelles that we go hunting for,
Okay.
and
or
morels,
morels,
Okay.
chanterelles.
and then we eat that with the wild caught fish. but I think he does buy the oil or the butter at the store.
Olive oil.
We definitely don't have cows, so we're not getting any butter or milk. Or anything.
Yeah.
Or
We don't
eggs
have
from
goats.
chickens. Sarah always wants me to get chickens. I'm going, at the end of summer, we'd have to kill them. And that's after we named them all summer. And I'm going, we're not getting chickens.
No, but Buzz has this knack for like taking care of the plants and like making it look really nice. And it's always been about like working the land and connecting with the land and moving the rocks to make it look cool, or putting rocks to stop from eroding the point, and keeping the trees healthy. Just we've always been out in nature. He used to take us firewood chopping when we were younger, and I don't know. I think that's just part of being from Colorado and Minnesota, and just being.
How about picking rocks on the road?
And then eventually nature teaches you about space. And then you get the full circle and you keep wondering what exactly it is.
It's the Matrix.
So, you try to bring this now to your parenting and your coaching and.
Well, I guess when you break it down to that, I just want to make a whole human being. My favorite coaches made it not just about like the racing and the skiing, but about all aspects of life and
The whole
nature,
experience.
the whole
of it.
experience, and connecting with my athletes and listening and just progressing as we go, because no one really knows, and helping the next generation has been my greatest gift, because they help me to see from different eyes and be more in tuned.
That sums up Sarah pretty good.
Well, you gotta take a lot of credit for that, Buzz.
I take credit for nothing. I give God all my credit.
True. Yeah, me too. Goddess. Because God doesn't have a gender.
Do you want me to ask you some of these questions that maybe aren't
No.
Okay.
That's a whole nother chapter.
All
or
right.
7 or 24.
Well, yeah, like what about this one? The back window of the Subaru.
Yeah, let's hear more about that.
Which one?
No, I think
back
it
road?
was the old Dodge pickup.
Oh, yeah.
No, I shot the Dodge.
Oh, yeah.
pickup out.
Let's tell about that one.
Yeah, but you got your permission to shoot a BB gun into the back of my pickup truck from Sarah.
Yeah, I have a nice little BB gun. I'm probably 6 to 9
He was
years old or
aiming at the
something.
cans on the back of the
I
bed.
stacked them all up, nice, all perfectly, and I have my little BB gun, shooting cans off the back of the truck. Next thing I realize, hit the top can, and I'm looking at the back of the truck. I'm like, the back window looks dusty, and I walk up closer, and I'm young, but it looks dusty. Walk up closer. And it's just spider web cracked. I was like, uh-oh.
Now, this is while Sarah was in charge when Lynn and I were at Sturgis at the motorcycle rally, and Sarah was supposed to keep everything in check.
I didn't shoot any people, so
We
at least that's a bonus.
lost a pontoon ladder to the bottom of old Davy's locker. We
Shout out the...
had cigarette butts scattered about the yard, so he knew there was evidence of
threw
a party.
parties.
Yeah.
At least I knew the butts weren't from my kids.
Yeah. Oh, of course not. There's never smoked anything.
What? What am I learning?
I've never done anything bad besides shoot out the back window of a Dodge. As of that I can remember right now.
And so you guys have friends up there that you would have parties with, though? When you you're
Oh,
able to
yeah,
make
we-
friends there,
Oh yeah,
too?
Buzz has this old '69 Fleetwood Cadillac limo that we got to drive. He let me
68.
borrow one summer.
Oh, boy.
Oh,
You
boy.
want to go there?
We took
No.
it to ski camp.
Yeah.
That's for sure. And we had it was this sick caddy. And
We'd
it
drive-
was Johnny, Sarah, and I in this caddy out in Mount Hood for 3 weeks for that camp. And I mean, that thing, it struggled across the country and went all sorts of places, but that's for
You drove
Another episode.
from
for
Minnesota
sure.
all the way to Mount Hood.
And then to Colorado, to California, after Mount Hood.
So it was a
It came to Colorado.
1968 Fleetwood. It was the lead car for a funeral home. It had a flip-up seat in the middle so you can fit 9 people comfortably. But that thing just rode down the
It still
highway.
does.
Yeah.
It just has a slight overheating problem right now.
It's always had. I had to fix the radiator once.
Oh wow.
Oh, she's a stubborn little girl. Big girl.
Mechanic,
She's
huh?
a big steering wheel. It's like a boat.
There's still a dent in one of the front fenders.
In the back right passenger
We could tell about
door.
my sailing trip
Oh,
and
yeah.
how Buzz tried to scare the wits out of Federico from even taking me on the best trip of my life,
Oh,
the
boy.
best days of my life.
Go for it. Let's hear it.
Federico bought a boat in Florida and wanted to get it all the way to Puerto Escondido, which is a very, very long story because it is there now. We started with the boat in Florida, sailed it out of a river. First day, got stuck in the river, had to spend the night because the rudder got stuck. Anyway, it was just this most amazing adventure, full of everything. And I'm so thankful for that boat and that trip.
But being the father that I am, I'm worried about pirates out in the Caribbean
Right.
and the.
He was trying to scare Federico.
Right.
He was
I
like,
was just
I hear that the
Same.
Caribbean has a long history of pirates.
yes.
well,
The
aren't you a
Bermuda
pirate?
Triangle.
Didn't you
Bermuda
raise me to be
Triangle.
kind of a pirate? Arr.
I guess so.
But so you eventually
Oh,
made
you
it
know,
there?
like Moana was meant to be a pirate, kind of. Not. She meant to meet the pirate.
Mulana?
Yeah, that's how I felt out there. I was
Yeah.
like, yeah, I was meant to be a pirate. I want to sail more. It's the most amazing.
So the trip, you eventually do get the
Yeah, we
boat
got the
to
boat. We sailed
destination?
it to the Key West. Then we sailed across the what's the Florida Channel called?
Well, I know you were in Cuba for a while.
Yeah, we made it to Cuba. So we go over oh my gosh, I can't even start. I have a YouTube channel if you want to check that one out. We have the whole trip documented and it was incredible. We made it back to Mexico, but we didn't make it around through Panama and down because it takes much longer than you would think to get anywhere. Time is completely different on the sea.
So how'd you get there then?
Well, we had a captain help us.
But you did go through Panama?
Yeah.
Yeah. You
Yeah,
have
yeah.
to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Federico's got it up to Puerto.
How'd you meet Federico?
That's been an amazing story, and I'm so thankful for how it turned out. Federico's grandfather ended up being he ended up here in Vail, kind of like Buzz, like this is the place. He was the first Mexican in Vail. He built the building over in Lion's Head.
Yeah.
Yeah, where the ski school is.
Mm-hmm.
And his cousin lived in that building, and we'd walk over from Red Sandstone to his cousin's house. So I've known the family since the 4th grade. And then I met Federico. He came on a trip to Topolino with his cousin because his cousin raced from Mexico. And
Topolino, the ski race.
the ski race.
Yeah,
So his
yeah.
cousin raced from Mexico. Federico came as his coach, and that was kind of like our first acquaintance. But I've seen him through in Vail in the building various occasions, but never really thought about it. And then I met him. He came to one of Johnny's shows in Edwards, in it for Tim. And kind of that's where it started. And
Nice.
that's another,
Yeah.
we could go into the whole
So
thing.
he
but-
ski raced too then?
No.
No.
Oh,
He's
so
a
he was just
snowboarder.
but he was
His
just at
cousin.
His
Oh.
cousin.
Okay,
His
yeah,
cousin
yeah.
grew
His
up in the
cousin.
valley. ski
Rocky
racing.
Cortina.
Yeah.
Rocky
Okay, got
Cortina.
it.
He was kind
Great-
of another reason
great
why I
fan.
love ski racing. There was like this Mexican stud. And he
Yeah.
had the ski club Vail jacket. And I was like, oh, who's that guy. You know? Little did I know he was going to be my cousin-in-law.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we were best friends all of childhood, pretty much.
I recently read a little bit about the Topolino, like, race history. The word Topolino, you think it means like ski race or something like that? It means Mickey Mouse.
Yeah, Mickey Mouse.
It's
They
a
can't use the
Mickey Mouse
name
ski race.
anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
No,
So
they
now they
lost
call it Pinocchio.
No, they call it Alpacimbre.
Yeah.
I guess Pinocchio, they can still keep the name.
Well, yeah, Pinocchio's a whole
Oh,
different-
because that was before
yeah,
Disney
It was a book before.
Yeah.
Disney just
took it.
Disneyfied it.
Yeah.
Disneyfied.
Disneyfied.
But yeah, so you had 2 years of racing Topolino as a kid, like back in the Mickey
No,
Mouse
I think just
days?
one.
Oh, okay.
Yep. And I was second. And and then we had the Whistler Cup that same year, and I won the Whistler Cup.
That's up in Canada.
Yeah.
And that's before FIS. That was
Yeah.
the year
Yeah,
before
those are
FIS.
your years leading up to FIS.
Yeah. So I was already fast.
And when you raced Topolino, Mickey Mouse was there
Oh,
as a
yeah.
mascot, and
Yeah, I won like a big Mickey Mouse. We have it somewhere still. It's probably
Really?
at the lake or
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
I'd
definitely
like
at
to
the
see
lake.
that.
Yeah.
it might be
We've
downstairs.
got the medal in the trophy case and it's got a Mickey Mouse on it.
okay, yeah.
And then
Funny.
Lasse was second in the Pinocchio a couple years ago in U14.
Oh, okay.
I also went to Topolino.
You did
Andrew
too.
went to Topolino.
Okay.
I went there for 2 years.
What year would that have been?
07, 06
Yeah,
probably-ish.
Yeah, okay.
But yeah, I mean,
That's cool.
Yeah, so
But
we
I
were on
didn't-
the ski team together
Yeah.
for a couple years.
Yep,
Huh. Really?
yep, short-lived.
Yeah.
Sarah got released and I got swept under the rug. That's also a story for another day. That'll go on for way too long.
So
My
many
story's
stories.
different.
So the memory sometimes is like, where's that story?
Which
Keep
brings
making
us
new
back
ones.
to we are really ski bums.
We
Yeah.
are the ski bums.
Here's one. All right, so here's one. Taking a limo across the country to attend a ski camp.
Yeah, that was part of that one from the whole limo of the Cadillac. And
Oh, that's that
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
Oh,
68
yeah, okay.
Cadillac,
That's
yeah.
the cat.
So-
Okay, so you call it
I
a
couldn't
limo.
believe he let me take it. I think
it's a limo.
my
like,
dad was like
it's-
pretty
it's
cool
a-
back in the day.
proper.
No,
Yeah,
You think you would let me take your Cadillac limo?
not after you put the dent in it that's still in it.
Buzz is bitter about that, Dad.
I can't even drive the pontoon anymore.
All right, how about this one?
That's a lie.
I got another one here. Ask about the model paints.
Oh, that was Johnny's. Johnny and I have gotten along really great my whole life. Actually, Rocky's mom, Federico's cousin, just told me how I would bring Johnny everywhere. Like I'd bring him
Your
over to
little
her
brother,
house.
yeah.
Yeah. Because,
3.5 years difference.
yeah. So I was like kind of his mom too, probably, but I don't remember it as well because I was younger. But Johnny and we get along so well, and he's just so mellow. But one time, I'm not mellow. I'm fiery, so I got mad. I made him bike all the way to Walmart to get me some paints for like a float we were supposed to do. I'm like, you have to go for me. You have to go. I don't know how I convinced him to go. And he biked all the way to Walmart, and then he came back with these like tiny model paints. And I just I broke every one. I was like, what are you thinking?
Oh my God!
I
He
know.
rode his bike from Vail to Walmart for
Yeah,
you, for his big sister.
And then I was just
and
a
he
total.
got the wrong kind of
I
paint.
think I was starting to hit that time, where you're just like raging hormones. Like,
I did not know that story.
oh, and there was this one other time. We were caught throwing sand at each other in the trailer.
in
the
Minnesota,
in Minnesota.
in the Airstream.
In the Airstream. And my dad was pissed. And I blamed it all on my brother. And that was not cool. And I'll never forget that. Because he was mad at my brother.
Got sand in your
I
eyes.
don't remember that.
Oh,
Sand in the eyes.
yeah.
They
Just
were
sand
getting-
in the trailer.
They were
Sand
getting
in the
in trouble
trailer.
so much, I can't remember these single stories.
Oh, yeah. If we got in trouble at the lake, we'd have to go pick weeds or pick rocks. We're always picking something.
Oh, they had it so tough.
so tough.
Oh, that was my best dry land. We'd just throw logs around.
We still do to this day.
Yeah.
Nothing has ever changed.
Yeah.
Still
Building
build-
bonfires for bus stock.
Building
now-
rock patios and all sorts of stuff. At the
But now
lake.
you bring your kids there basically for that experience.
Yeah, which is a different experience because we have a house now. So it's like you can, I mean, even we would get away from like being outdoors too. Johnny would go stay at his friends and like get a real shower. And Johnny ended up staying there a lot. And I would stay at my friends a lot. And so now that we have a house, it's like you're not as connected for sure.
Yeah.
But you still get
But you're
to,
more comfortable.
you're more comfortable. You get a hot
I'd
shower.
rather bathe in the lake any day.
I bathe in the lake all the time, but you still hear the loons and
Well, close us out by talking about your kids, and it seems like Lassie is now kind of coming up as the next ski racing Schleper. Do you think that he has a future in the sport and could find some success like you and Hunter have?
who knows where his motivation is? It's tough to say. He's in a different generation. Like they're into their video games and whatever.
Hey,
AI.
you've already referenced Zelda and Mario on this episode, so you played some video games in your day.
I guess I did. Maybe he gets it from
But
me.
if you want to see his potential, go to Gold Peak and watch him train. He can ski
Oh, are they
slalom
training
and
at Gold
GS.
Peak?
Oh yeah.
Oh
And
yeah,
he's
the
a good
expansion
super
is
G.
open.
They got it open
They were
finally.
like, one of the
Oh,
coaches
yeah.
came up to me. He's like, I don't know what's up with that John Laconte. He's like writing bad press about us in the paper. I was like, what? I was like, John. He's like, he thought you had it hard out for him or something.
Well, this expansion was
Yeah.
promised to us all as an early season training venue.
Yeah,
Like,
that's amazing that you wrote something. I think.
I mean, well, it's fraud. like early season training venue, and it's mid-January and it's not open yet. Like, what's wrong with this picture?
Also, where's the train park?
Honest.
And
Oh,
they
the
have-
train part.
And it's like you can't blame snowmaking when you have the Gopher Hill open.
Do you know what's so interesting though? I think it was so good for the kids to start on the baby slope with ice.
Yeah.
I think it's going to end up being like really great for the club just because it was
See, and I think the Gopher Hill thing is great, actually.
Yeah.
Like I think
the
great
expansion
that
is very difficult. It's steep like this
Yeah.
and like terrain like this.
Yeah.
So I for the kids I coach, I'm like, okay, we got to start here, like try this.
Right.
But they didn't even get the lower part.
No, I
did
know they should have had it
No,
ready sooner.
The whole thing was an abject
And
failure.
what
I think
happened
it's
to
an-
our half pipe?
It's so
Yeah,
expensive.
well,
Like
yeah.
Ski Club has to pay for the water
Yeah.
now from Vail Resorts, and they're like battling because they don't get the
Yeah.
early.
What? And they don't charge enough to their kids to get in.
They
or
pay
what?
they pay their coaches, I guess.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, but yeah. So I
mean,
mean, yeah, that's funny
It's
that
just
came
hard.
up though.
I know.
Yeah.
It's super funny. And then but we were by January 1st we were like, why isn't it open yet?
Yeah.
The turnaround is amazing. The kids get so many laps.
Yeah.
It's super nice. It keeps them focused.
Yeah.
Like the big lap, they're just like, I just want to hit the terrain park.
Right. Right.
Which is
Right.
I let my kids go in there because you got to keep it fun.
Yeah.
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 And the better skier you are. I mean, Hunter used to, the coaches get so pissed because he wouldn't rest. He'd go straight from the training to the terrain park.
Yeah.
That was even at Mount
Nonstop.
Hood.
Yeah.
You'd do that.
Yeah.
Everywhere.
Yeah.
Every single ski camp. I'd go train.
Mount Hood, he ditched training.
As soon as it would get slushy, I'd go hit the train park.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Start
then
doing backflips.
they
Ski racing's over once it's slushy.
Yeah.
Like, for me.
I think that's the thing. Like you grow into, we've always been rebels. And I feel like that sometimes, I'm a coach and I have to play by certain rules. And I guess you're playing by rules in society as well. But being a rebel is something at some point I was maybe ashamed of. And I'm like growing back into like being okay with it. But it's like you have to come to terms with why and how you're a rebel. I don't know. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. and you
Because
have
the
to-
apple. That's why. The apple doesn't fall far.
Forgive me.
Yeah.
And then I have him that's like, no, you can't be a rebel. You have to be. What are you
Me?
wearing?
Yeah.
What are you wearing tonight? That's not good. Why are you wearing a hat? I'm like, okay, I gotta walk this straight and narrow with him. But then with the rest of my life, I'm like a bit of a rebel. But I always try to walk the straight for my dad. But I'm
You're his only daughter.
Live.
Yeah.
Well, Hunter's broken him in a bit, so that's nice.
And then your other...
You two broke him in, and I'm riding it because
Yeah.
of you two. Because you
Yeah,
two
Johnny
were
doesn't
crazy.
give a shit. He's like, whatever. I'm
Yeah.
gonna do my life.
Yeah. Well, he's the rocker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's
That's-
still trying
that's
to.
part of
He
being rock
he
and
still
roll.
does part of it for Pa though.
Yeah.
I think, I don't know, the family dynamic and just being thankful, but also knowing it was hard and he was tough.
Well, look at how great you guys turned out.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's part of... Like,
No, I
the
I do.
rebellious is like... that is character, you know?
We have a great family relationship. I mean, I don't know anybody who's got a tighter family than what we have.
I mean, everyone in the family lives in
No,
Vail, so that's a
there's been so
bonus.
many lessons like smile, trick your mind. If you're not feeling good, just smile and trick your mind. Or, these girls were picking on this other girl that wasn't like as cool or whatever. And my dad was always like, you have to be inclusive, and those types of lessons where, being a rebel is okay because deep down inside in your heart and the choices you're making, you're doing it for the good and for the love. And that's what I've learned.
Tough love.
Tough love. But I still, and I realize the picture's bigger than just my dad and being raised in a ski shop and growing through ski racing and just being part of this culture and community. It's bigger than that, but those are your roots and you take those with you. I got lost there for a second.
I think that's great. I think that's a good positive message to end it on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Sarah, for coming
I
and
don't know
talking
how to
us.
say what I was trying to say. I was just trying to say, like, we all families have problems and difficulties, and even ours that look so perfect and amazing. It's tough sometimes, and we've gone through a lot of tough times, and we're just, but we've also had amazing times. We've had so many opportunities, and we're living in this earth, like skiing on this amazing mountain every day. I mean, who gets to do that? Going water skiing, listening to rock and roll. I mean, modern human, this is so much fun. And
But, even the troubled times, you work them out and you learn. You
learn.
You improve yourself by working out the problem. And we always take care of the problems. So we're all happy in the end.
So you're still learning at your age?
Oh, hell yeah.
That's great.
These kids are teaching me every day.
Yeah. That's great.
he
What a
likes
cool
us to think
family.
that he knows everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The man behind the curtain.
Well, thank you guys for having me in as in part of this
Thank you for
family
doing that.
therapy session.
Yeah.
Well, we needed somebody just in case
Yeah.
the fight broke out to break it up.
Exactly, yeah. Cool. No, I think
No,
that's really
We don't
great,
fight
yeah.
much, but when we do, it's,
Yeah, me and you.
oh, there's my husband.
Me and you have fought more than anyone on the planet.
But we don't
probably.
fight that much. We've had
But
one.
when we do, we earn it. It's
Like,
smashing. So, I
think
going into this. There's a ski race in Beaver Creek, a Super G down Centennial, and
Oh.
Sarah shows up to come watch me ski race, and I come through the finish, look at my time, and I'm just like hanging my head. I know I'm slow as shit. And she comes over to me. She's like, "You realize a girl beat you? Like, why were you so slow?" And I'm like, yo, I know I'm slow. Like, so it went into she just didn't shut up. She just kept going on.
no, I
on
felt
me.
so bad. I was like, and he's like,
And I'm just
leave
like-
me alone.
I'm like, fuck you. I'm pissed. And we go down into McCoy's, and she's still just walking right behind me, chirping right behind me. And I have a brand new helmet, and we're downstairs in the bottom of McCoy in Beaver Creek. I take this helmet and just throw it as hard as I can against this wall and just blow it up. And I was just like, just so angry. And it was just like, but those were
What about the
Back to
time
the
you
time of-
hawked a loogie into my eyes?
Yeah, in Park City.
And Johnny vomited on me one time. So I've had the full brother
Wow.
experience.
Several different types of
Sarah
fluid.
earned it
Yeah.
that day, though. She made me.
No, I did not earn that.
I would never be at the finish line being like, "Wow, you suck!" Like,
Oh,
great
the
work.
helmet, yeah.
But-
Yeah, I was like,
Oh,
But
I was
Hunter
like-
never got chicked again after that.
yeah. You needed that
Oh,
wake-up call. I'm like, what line were you on? That granny
I weigh
line?
140
Starting all over.
pounds. I weigh 140 pounds.
Still
like-
can't
What do you
believe it.
expect?
Yeah,
Hunter
yeah.
blamed it on Buzz. He's like, my wax. Why'd he put on?
It was
Why'd he
my
put
wax.
peanut butter on my skis?
That was my first blame. Always was Buzz, of course. Just,
My skis feel bad. No.
But
no, Buzz would. I would get so mad ski racing, and Buzz would be like, "You need to calm down." Like,
Yeah,
I
losing
was-
is horrible.
But I had the redheaded mentality where it was like, I would lose my mind. And, like, I straddled the second gate in a race in Howelson Hill, straight line it, past the next racer on the course, go ski straight into the parking lot with my race skis. So angry, like on pavement with my slalom race skis. And Buzz was like, "What? Like, it's just a ski race. Calm down." I'm like, "No." You know, when you're 15, 16
Oh,
years old,
Fuchsie.
that means the world to you.
then the coaches are coming to me going, you cannot let Hunter do that when he skis out. I'm going, I didn't let him do it. He just did it.
Yeah, I was
Hunter had
just-
a rage, man.
What were you going to
Red-
say about Fuchsie?
Oh, Fuchsie said Hunter was the most talented skier he's ever seen in
Yeah.
the entire, because he was training in Mount Hood on the west side in the rocks one year, lost an edge, hit the rut, and jumped a 15-foot gap of rocks and landed and kept skiing out.
Oh, Fuchsie loves stuff like that.
Yeah, he was like...
He's a Pate champion.
Pata 8. Fuchsie's the best.
Oh, Fuchsie is
Yeah,
the best.
Well,
shouts
we have
out
such a
Fuchsie.
great
I love that guy.
community.
We gotta
Yeah.
have him on.
Yeah,
the
Oh,
Fuchsie.
Fuchsie
Yeah.
would be awesome.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
gotta
Oh,
get him
yeah.
on here.
I know.
That'd be
Nice.
great.
You
But
guys
of
got to
course,
get...
then he's gonna do one episode. He's gonna be like, I started my own podcast.
The Fuchsie
He'll try.
Pate
He's like, what? No,
champion.
he's like, why
The
don't you have the Fuchsie gear in the shop, Buzz?
It's not called. It's not gear. It's
Oh.
Flash.
Oh, Fuchsie Flash.
It's the Fuchsie Flash.
Dang, I should know that. He's
Shouts
always
out
like,
Fuchsie.
every time I come in the shop, he's like, ladies and gentlemen,
Exactly. Yeah.
6-time Olympian, Sarah Schleper. Everybody know who this is. Get her autograph.
See, he would always do that to me, and I would turn it on him, and I'd be like, "But do you know who this is? He's the Pate champion." Yeah, he has a tattoo, Pate champion.
Yeah,
you
no,
know?
and Fuchsie, he would be the second guy in the powder eights, which is the harder spot to
Yeah.
beat because you have to get into the rhythm.
I'm sure
with
he's
the
just
other
yelling
guy.
at the other guy. And now, and now.
Yeah, Eric Archer. Yeah, exactly.
Eric Archer?
Yeah, yeah,
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a great guy. Oh, Cosmo. 1, 2, 3.
Cosmo.
Let's go.
Well, this is a lot of fun, you guys.
That was
Yeah,
super
this is
fun.
great. Well,
Yeah.
Thanks for being.
Yeah,
on.
no, exactly.
Yeah,
Thank
for-
you for calling me into your family for the
No,
night.
this is
It's really
great.
cool, yeah. And I guess we should thank the viewer for tuning in as well to
Yeah.
another episode of Buzz Unfiltered. Original goal was to be a weekly podcast. Right now we're on the monthly
Bi-weekly.
the monthly podcast.
I got
Yeah.
sick.
We're off to a good start.
Oh.
yeah, we've had our
We had Abigail's
December
birthday.
and January issues.
We're just getting
so.
started.
Cosmo,
Yeah, yeah.
come here.
But we have a lot of interesting guests for the future lined up.
Yeah, so stay tuned.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Please comment, like, subscribe who you want to see out here.
Oh,
And
that's right. Yes.
it's going to be great.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
we got part 2 of my adventures
Exactly.
where it'll be unfiltered.
Yes.
And Sarah's
Especially
got to get some
unfiltered.
unfiltered going.
Sarah-
I
on,
think
so.
she did good tonight. I
She
think
did
there was
great.
some good unfilteredness.
But
there.
This is just
She has to retire
breaking
from
the ice.
coaching before she